Welcome to my home garden. Today I'm going to be planting my dahlias. They are actually going to be planted up the allotment, but I'm starting the process here at home. If you've not already subscribed to my channel, if you could please do so, because I'll give you lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. So today I'm going to be planting my dahlias. Like I said, I'm going to be showing you how I plant my dahlias and what I feed them, and in particular I'm going to be giving you a top tip at the end when they start to bud of a feed that I put on my dahlias, which gives me guaranteed fantastic blooms. So here are my dahlias here. Now you can obviously source them from the garden centre in a little packet. If you get new ones, they are much smaller. These started off quite tiny a few years ago, but they've gradually grown and grown, and they're actually quite large now. Now I could plant these as they are in one whole clump, or I could break them up into more plants if I wanted to. So before I plant these, I will be going over them looking for any damaged or mouldy tubers. So I will go around them, gently loosen the soil without damaging them, and take off anything that's damaged. You know, in particular I've got one there where it looks like I probably put the fork through it, so that one there is going to come off. Now the reason, and I've got a mouldy one there as well, so if you've got any squidgy mouldy ones, get rid of those too. So like I say, any damaged, mouldy, don't look quite right, the last thing you want to do is put that back in the ground. Now the reason that I dig my dahlias out every year is because I have quite clayey soil up at the allotment, and if I left them in the soil, the chances are they would ruin over the winter and I wouldn't have any dahlias. If you live in an area where it's not so clayey, and you don't think it's quite such a frosty area, then obviously you could give it a go and leave them in the ground. But I know it's really open, really frosty up at the allotment, and the soil is quite clayey. So every single year I lift them out and I store them in a cool, dark place. Again, make sure it's frost free. I either keep them in trays like this or shallow cardboard boxes, and I normally cover them with a little bit of extra protection, a little bit of fleece. So I fold them down flat a little bit, like so, and then I'll store them with a little bit of fleece over them as well, just as a little bit of added protection, so I know that they'll be kept safe over the winter. Now you can plant your dahlias from about February to May. I personally plant mine now, and it's the end of March, because I know that the frosts aren't quite so bad. So I will be getting my dahlias in the ground very shortly, and I will now be heading up the allotment to show you how I plant them and what I feed them with. So I've dug all the holes ready to put my dahlias in, and I just wanted to demonstrate what I meant with us having a clay soil and the reason why I don't leave mine in the ground. So as I've dug these out and I get right down here, I can hear that that is quite clayey. In fact, you can see the change in the colour of the soil as well. Look, it's actually really, really clayey. And what would happen if I'd have left those dahlias in the ground is when it would have rained, the rain would have gone down onto the clay wouldn't have drained away the water wouldn't have drained away very quickly because of the clay, and then those tubers would have frozen, and most likely I'd have lost the lot. So that's why, as you can see, it looks quite squidgy. That's why I dig mine up every single year. So these are all ready to start earthing up now. Now when you first plant them, you can use a general multi-purpose feed to give them a good start. So just a little bit of a sprinkling in and around the tuber. So the thing to remember, it might seem obvious, is that the tubers go towards the bottom like that. So all the little tubers go that way, and the stalk is heading up to the top like so. And then all I need to do, if I get my spade, is I just need to cover these up. Now as you can see, I've done one already. I don't cover it right up to the very top, and the reason I do that is because it creates a little trough for when I'm watering, and it's just a lot more effective. There's probably enough in there for that one. Just break it all up really nicely all in around, get rid of any weeds that you might see, because we don't want to leave those in the ground anyway. So there we go. So arrange that nice and evenly, break up the soil, helps with drainage as much as you can. And then it's been quite a dry few days here, and I'm not anticipating any rain, so I am going to give these a little bit of a water to settle them in. Now just a word of warning, quite often when you plant your dahlias, they do take a little while to sprout. So don't think that they're not going to grow. I know when I've planted them most years, I just think they're taking forever to grow. They're not going to sprout, that's it, they're ruined. But don't, just bear with and they will sprout, I promise you. So they're such a nice flower to do because they continually flower right up to the frost. Lovely, beautiful stems and big fat flowers on them. And I have them all around my house, brightening my house up. And I also take them around to friends and family. And I absolutely love the fact, I always initially felt a bit of a cheapskate when I first started doing it, but actually they were more excited receiving a bunch of flowers that I'd grown myself than they were when I actually took a bulk packet round. So I can definitely recommend it, and it's also really good for the environment as well. So one thing, we put multi-purpose in the ground when we planted them, but you feed them with something that's got a high potash feed when they start to bud. Now something like Tomatorite, just your normal tomato feed, will be perfect, and they will encourage lots of nice big ample constant blooms, so you'll get a plentiful supply right up until the first frost. So I hope that's been useful for everybody. If you've got any comments or queries, please don't hesitate to put them in the comments and we'll do our best to answer them.